Starlink, the technology connecting the world and the future of global defense. Imagine being in the middle of the ocean, deep in the Amazon rainforest, on a remote mountain, or in a war zone where traditional communications infrastructure has been destroyed. For most of human history, staying connected in these environments was either impossible or extremely difficult, but that is changing. A technology called Starlink is helping connect parts of the world that have never had reliable internet access before, and its impact is becoming much bigger than simply allowing people to browse the web. Starlink, developed by SpaceX, https://reference-url-citation.invalid/0, under the leadership of Edge, is a satellite internet constellation made up of thousands of satellites orbiting Earth in low Earth orbit. Unlike traditional communications satellites that operate tens of thousands of kilometers away from Earth, Starlink satellites orbit much closer to the planet. This lower altitude dramatically reduces latency, making internet connections faster and more responsive. The result is high-speed internet access almost anywhere on Earth. For rural communities, remote workers, ships at sea, aircraft in flight, and developing nations, this technology is helping bridge the digital divide. Areas that were once disconnected are becoming part of the global economy. Students can access educational resources, businesses can reach international markets, healthcare providers can connect with specialists thousands of miles away. Entire communities are being brought online for the first time. But the story does not stop there. As our world becomes increasingly connected, communications networks are becoming critical infrastructure. Modern economies depend on digital connectivity. Governments depend on digital connectivity, military forces depend on digital connectivity, and this is where Starlink enters a much larger conversation about the future of cyber resilience and global security. Today's battlefields look very different from those of the past. Military operations now span multiple domains: land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace. Command centers, drones, satellites, vehicles, sensors, and soldiers are all connected through digital networks. The challenge is that every connected device can potentially become a target. Cyber attacks no longer focus only on stealing information. They can disrupt communications, interfere with logistics, disable systems, and create confusion at critical moments. This is why defense organizations around the world are investing heavily in cyber resilience. The goal is not simply to prevent attacks. The goal is to continue operating even when attacks occur. Many defense companies now talk about concepts such as coordinated defense, cyber cells, real-time threat sharing, and integrated command systems. Behind the buzzwords is a simple idea. If a threat is detected in one part of the network, every connected system should be able to learn about that threat immediately. Instead of isolated teams responding independently, information flows across the entire network. The faster the information moves, the faster organizations can respond. This is where technologies like Starlink become increasingly important. Because Starlink creates resilient, distributed communication pathways, it can help maintain connectivity even when traditional infrastructure is unavailable or compromised. Rather than relying on a small number of fixed communication points, organizations can utilize a global network of satellites operating overhead. This creates new possibilities for both civilian and military communications. However, there are also important questions. As more systems become connected, does that create new vulnerabilities? Can cybersecurity systems truly operate at machine speed? Can artificial intelligence reliably identify threats in real time? And what happens if adversaries target the networks themselves? These are questions that governments, technology companies, and defense organizations are working to answer. What is clear is that we are entering a new era where connectivity and cybersecurity are becoming inseparable. The internet is no longer simply a tool for communication. It has become a critical layer of modern society. The networks we build today will shape commerce, education, healthcare, defense, and global cooperation for decades to come. Starlink represents more than a satellite internet service. It represents a vision of a world where geography is no longer a barrier to connectivity. A world where information can flow across continents, oceans, and remote regions with unprecedented speed. And as these networks continue to expand, they may become one of the foundations upon which the next generation of global communications, cyber defense, and digital infrastructure is built. The question is no longer whether the world will become more connected. The question is how we ensure that this connected world remains secure, resilient, and accessible to everyone. Because in the digital age, connectivity is no longer a luxury. It is becoming as essential as electricity itself.